All right, we're back at it. So just a little bit of background on the Port of Long Beach and our security vision. Security's always been a top priority for us here, but significantly enhanced in the post 9/11 era, bringing in more than 13 different law enforcement agencies and quite a few different 13 different law enforcement agencies, along with a significant number of support elements. We are ultimately a public agency under the state of California, monitored and managed by the city of Long Beach. And we've been a significant beneficiary of Port Security Grant Program. So just kind of highlighting here our drug and bomb sniffing dogs. We have both federal, state, and local dogs operating the port environment. A harbor patrol that's part of the port complex itself. Some significant fire assets, police assets. Customs and Border Protection has a significant presence here, as you imagine, and some shots of our federal partners out here. This is a recent photo from our COVID planning efforts. During the initial phases of the response back in the March timeframe, we had quite a bit of issues to work through as we're dealing with cruise ships, passenger terminals, international cargo operations, and so we were able to bring our federal partners together. So a quick highlight of our harbor patrol operations. So we have a 75-person harbor patrol team that specifically work in the harbor district, enforcing a variety of ordinances, but the biggest aspect is kind of being that visible presence and keeping about 18,000 trucks a day moving through. This is a screenshot from our command and control center. This is probably one of the things that makes us most distinct. The depth of operation is pretty impressive. They're able to monitor approximately about 600 cameras across the port complex, including some of our partners in the Port of LA. And then we're able to share these cameras and some of the sensors with our partners of the Customs and Border Protection, Coast Guard, and others. So this is kind of an infographic looking at some of our partners here locally. Mentioned local fire, local PD. We have a fusion center that we work with very directly to develop and share maritime intel, a lot of emergency response capabilities. One of the big aspects of our mission set here is maritime domain awareness. Like we said, we have about 600 cameras that span across 3,200 acres, giving us a kind of eagle eye perspective on a lot of the different things happening in the port environment. And we've got 35 miles of fiber built into redundant rings to support this operation and provide that cameras, sensors, and other types of feedback. And then we have a two online information sharing portals that we use, one for kind of external non-public safety partners, and one that's more secure that provides public safety. We have our own technical security group, but this is an IT team specifically designed to support our security endeavors. This is a screenshot from our new Port Observer program. This was built in partnership with Esri and North-South GIS. One of the critical lessons we learned in this process, dual factor authentication is a terrific cybersecurity enhancement, as my colleague Mike discussed in the morning session, but it is a big challenge in trying to get more partners on board. This is just another kind of infographic highlighting how we integrate data from a variety of different markets, commercial data, customs information, internal port information, and then share that with a variety of partners. Kind of a background in our grants administration. We've been very lucky to receive about $3 to $5 million a year in grant funds, for a total of about $150 million worth of grant funds since the early 2000s. So this is the main kind of topic for us today, is talking about our new port administration building in our Civic Center complex. Approximately 8 years ago, our executive leadership team decided that we were going to move out of our then headquarters building. It was not earthquake, not probably retrofitted for earthquakes. We were built on field land here in the port environment, so it's a little bit more of a dynamic than one would like. We had asbestos issues and all the other issues you could imagine from older construction. And our city leadership pushed that we'd have one combined civic center complex involving the port headquarters building and our city hall to kind of hearken the reinvigoration of our downtown environment. This was not a small endeavor. The city chose to proceed on a public-private partnership approach where they financed the construction and maintenance of the new building through a 40-year kind of rent-to-own agreement, along with some land swaps in order to finance the cost of the facility. The port was in the position to pay for the building up front and was able to use transportation financing mechanisms to finance some of the other costs. Building a combined facility for both our port and City Hall brought some unique challenges as we had to integrate kind of two different cultures within our port environment and the city. Multiple different law enforcement agencies. The Long Beach PD, our local police department, has overall jurisdiction for the area, but they work in close coordination with our harbor patrol. I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. It was really a terrific opportunity to be able to build a new facility with security in mind from the ground up. Most of my experience has been retrofitting existing buildings and existing facilities. Here's some aerial shots of our we took yesterday. We have about 125 cameras throughout the complex that we're able to share and monitor real time. This next image here is from some of the recent protest activity we've experienced. This ability to monitor what was going on the ground was hugely valuable. This particular protest on May 29th did get some national news and got a little bit more attention, but we were able to maintain peace throughout this area and had no damage to the Civic Center complex because we were able to monitor what was going on pretty closely. So you can see we got pretty crowded at the beginning of this scenario. Look at the visual in the top right corner. So this next slide just kind of highlights some of the enhancements that we put in place with this new facility. So these are the latest generation turnstiles, magnometers. On the left, you see a program we're still working on, our visitor management system. This is a work in progress. It's been a little bit more dynamic to integrate with our access control system, but we do think, especially in the light of COVID, this ability to know who's coming in and out of our buildings can be hugely important. One other major consideration was we were going to build an underground parking structure. We're taking a lot of the lessons learned from the 1993 World Trade Center attack and others. And so these are pretty hefty wedge barriers that we incorporate in to the design, along with a speed gate. This opens and closes in less than 5 seconds. It's pretty impressive, but high maintenance, to say the least. It has been proven to be a little bit more challenging to maintain and get all three systems working together correctly. This next slide just highlights a little bit of what we have going on in terms of the divisional responsibilities between our harbor patrol officers and the local Long Beach Police Department, working through issues of radio communication and others. This is the item that has us probably most busy this week and going forward. We're unveiling our new Gerald Desmond Bridge replacement as soon as this Friday. And so this has been a long-term construction project that we were able to incorporate some original designs about 8 years ago, but we're working now to figure out how we're going to update the systems as soon as the bridge opens to meet modern day technology needs. But we were able to span fiber across the bridge and run it throughout, so we have a lot of the base infrastructure that we're looking for. And that kind of highlights our presentation here. Happy to answer any questions you might have or talk a little bit more in depth about some of the security measures. I just want to give a brief outline to get off.